Hi, Sadis, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya. Same awesome Naya. Hope you are great. So I am seeing purple revolution. And what is purple revolution? White women are like, thinking that it is time for red and blue to come together and look for a way to solve the problem. And how are you people planning to solve the problem? Because for you to solve a problem or solve a problem, there is need to start or visit what started the problem. So what started the problem? Are you going to sit down with black people and other people of color to talk about it, then apologize and looking for a way to move forward? Because so far black people have worked so hard for white people, and they have chosen that they do not want to work anymore. Because if you look at the history from the beginning of history to this very moment, they've been the one carrying the weight on their shoulder. And they are saying that they are no longer carrying the weight. So now they are saying they want red and blue to come together and work things out. Sincerely speaking, I do not believe white women, and I do not see them with this. I think they are just capping as usual with this purple revolution that they are starting. But for those that want to join them, anyway, because there is nothing to join at this point in time. They are still talking, not until we see their action, because action speaks louder than voice. We need to see their action to see what they got in plan on how to dismantle the system. Let's get into this video.
So white people are on my FYP talking about Purple Revolution. And what this is from is there are particular creators, one whose name is actually Purple Revolution, who are talking about the fact that they are MAGA or are coming out of MAGA or are still MAGA and realizing that Trump lied to them and that everything that they thought they believed in was a lie. Are these people woke? Not yet. But because these policies are not creating the world they thought it was going to create, and because it's actually harming them and they're starting to realize that it's harming them, they're starting to realize that we need to come together to put an end to this regime. And they're calling it Purple Revolution in honor of the man who most of us have seen on our FYP talking about it. And so in these comments, I've seen multiple people from left, right, in between, and out on the edges talking about, I'm with you, sir. Let's get this done. Purple Revolution. I'm gonna call it the Prince movement, okay? But I'm seeing a lot of these comments and hashtags, but I'm not seeing anything being put into action. And I know people aren't going to like display what they're doing behind the scenes on their social medias, but I want to know that the people who are predominantly white in these comment sections who are talking about Purple Revolution, the Prince movement, right, that they are going to actually put it into work. But something in me is telling them that they don't know how. And part of them is still waiting for black and brown people to take the lead, to be at the forefront of this movement. And that's just not going to happen. So for all of the white people who want to make Purple Revolution a real thing, who want to actually put an end to this tyrannical dictatorship, here's a little advice. If y'all want this to be a real revolution with real results and not a revolution cosplay, then I need y'all to stop romanticizing 1776 and get a grip on reality and realize that we are in 2025. That means this is going to take strategy, discipline, and sacrifice, not hashtags and slogans. Don't just sit here and scream about tyranny and freedom without specifics. Y'all have to define what a non-tyrannical government looks like to you and the other people that you're trying to make this world better for. It means taking into account policies, rights, accountability. Then you'll need to write a platform. Short, plain English, understandable for most people, and actionable before anything else. Know your demands. Know what it is that you're fighting for, fighting and working towards. And for this to be a real revolution for real people, it can't just center you and your religious beliefs or your moral convictions, if that's what y'all want to call them. This has to be for everyone's basic human rights, while keeping in mind that you are going to allow people to live the way they want to live as long as they're not harming anyone else without imposing your own beliefs onto them. We need to be real big on minding our business. Y'all need to organize locally, not just online. Because real movements grow from neighborhoods up, not from hashtags down. Build chapters. Hold town meetings, town halls. Hold strategy sessions. Get people together and organized. Meet up and communicate face to face. Train members in action and community defense. Because every movement is going to need a defense party. It's going to be a big one for y'all, but y'all are going to have to sacrifice comfort, not just talk about it. A revolution that doesn't cost something is not a revolution. Risk your reputation. Call out racism and fascism. anywhere and any place around anybody that you happen to hear it or see it. Risk your job. Organize unions. Push for changes for good in the workplace. Protect the whistleblowers. Risk your money. Fund the causes and leaders that are already doing the work. Protect those most vulnerable. Because if you're serious about ending tyranny, then you need to start where it hits the hardest. Black and brown communities, poor folks, LGBTQIA+, immigrants, disabled people. Make protecting the people of those communities your front line work, not an afterthought. To do that, you have to have empathy and be selfless. Stop idolizing strong men. You can't fight tyranny by continuing to create mini dictators. Absolutely no more cult of personality leaders. Use collective decision making and communication and transparency and share leadership roles, especially with those who come from marginalized communities. And study, learn to understand how real movements work. Study the civil rights movement, labor movements, indigenous land defense. Study anti-apartheid movements and struggles. Understand that boycotts work. Money holds power. And please remember that mutual aid helps when states crack down. And be ready for state and governmental pushback. They might smear you, divide you, arrest you, threaten your jobs. This is normal. And if you aren't ready for it, you aren't ready for revolution. Center justice, not freedom. Because freedom without justice just becomes freedom for the powerful to oppress. Make equity, I know that word is scary, and rebuild the foundation. Or else you're just going to end up rebuilding a shinier version of the same system. Now, y'all are going to have to commit for the long run. You can't just give up the movement and stop doing the work when it's no longer trending on your FYP. We're talking about decades. If you can't do these things, you're not ready for a revolution and you're not really ready to end tyranny. You're just venting. Real change, real revolution takes discipline, humility, and the willingness to be uncomfortable and make sacrifices for the greater good of all, not just yourself. This motherfucking part right here. Because until black and brown bodies are no longer under threat, there is no unity worth joining. We've bled enough for America's conscience. If this purple revolution is real, then white folks need to prove it with their actions, their wallet, and their willingness to risk the comfort that we've never had. Because this is the truth that no one wants to say out loud. We have spent our entire lives, our ancestors' entire lives, defending a country that never gave a fuck about us, never defended us, never protected us. Yeah, and it's cute that y'all want to start a revolution by mixing red and blue together to get purple. But purple does not wash away generations of blood and oppression. And let's be real, until this system, this country, this administration, this particular religion stops harming black and brown bodies, until brown and indigenous folks are not being deported, until anybody who is not cis-het Christian white evangelical are no longer being erased, there is no unity. And there cannot be any unity that's worth us joining. Because if y'all are serious about change, it cannot be symbolic. It has to cost y'all something. Your comfort. Your money, your safety.
It's not left versus right, it's up versus down. Sure, but I think that we can do two things at the same time. I think we can acknowledge that there are wealth hoarding capitalist monsters dooming millions of people into poverty, and then also some of those millions of people who are doomed to poverty also kind of want immigrants to have no rights in America, and also want women to have different rights in America, and also want gay people to have different rights. It's a little bit of left versus right. And I think that all of the conservatives coming on here talking about a purple revolution where we suddenly hold hands and sing Kumbaya and walk off into the sunset together have to first acknowledge that some of these culture war issues that they have been hoodwinked into thinking are very important to them are because those capitalist wealth hoarding monsters want them to focus on that, want them to marginalize and other minorities and not their fucking wealth hoarding capitalist overlords. I'm all for a purple revolution. I just need the color to be a little bit deeper, you know, kind of a bluish, like kind of a dark blue, like a really deep blue where everybody has fucking equal rights, you know?
Have y'all been watching these Purple Revolution videos? I find it very interesting. But black people, I don't think any of this is our business. They're talking about the left coming together, the right coming together, blue plus red to get the purple revolution. And what they want to, they're now opening their eyes and realizing that they've been bamboozled. They've been hoodwinked. They're now realizing that it's not really a left versus right? That it's a top versus down. They're just not realizing it. And they're realizing it because Donald Trump's policies are tagging their asses. They are suffering. And that suffering has helped them to open their eyes. There's another hashtag, the awakening. Black people, I really don't think this has anything to do with us, because they are talking about coming together for their rights, human rights, those types of things. We've always been on that. Every time we stepped into the voting booth, we were voting for everyone, including racist MAGA Republicans. We knew when we went into the voting booth on November 5th, we knew Donald Trump's policies was going to rip this country apart. We knew that if Donald Trump got back into office, that MAGA would be hurting. They went into the voting booth thinking that Donald Trump's policies was only going to be hurting us, the immigrants. They went into the voting booth to vote for policies to hurt us. Now they're learning what we were saying. Donald Trump's policies will hurt everyone. And so now they're afraid of losing their rights. Now they're afraid of not being able to pay their bills. Now they're afraid of not being able to put food on the table. And so they want to come together. They want to unify to try to beat this regime. Try to hold on to whatever rights they have to be able to put food on the table. They want to come together to fight against the elite at the top and the Donald Trump regime. But we've always been on that. This is a revolution amongst themselves. This is a conversation that they need to have amongst themselves. I think we just need to sit back and continue to live life and do what we've been doing. We've always been on the right side of things. We've always seen Donald Trump and all of those before him what they were about. We tried to tell them. The one guy with the Purple Revolution handle, I just watched him do a video holding himself accountable for how he has behaved as a Trump supporter. He's holding himself accountable. He is apologizing. He has called out black people, apologizing to black people and other people. But even though their goal is to unify, to topple the regime, what steps do you plan to take in order to do that? They don't want to make it political. I saw one guy say, it's not about politics, not about policy. Well, how do you plan to topple the regime? How do you plan to hold on to your rights? You have to vote in order to do that. You have to make your voice heard. So you don't want to talk about politics. You don't want to talk about that. But how do you plan to do that? In the end, he said, by any means necessary, whatever they need to do. Okay, well, that includes voting. That includes looking at policy. So the one guy, he makes more sense than some of the other videos that I've seen. I saw another video that where the guy was talking about human rights for all. That means for immigrants in this country. That means for members of the LGBTQIA plus community. That means members of the black community. He went down the line. Human rights for all. All lives are to be respected. So some of them get it, but some of them talking about this purple revolution don't. It's going to take a combination of things. Are you willing to step up to vote the Republican Party out? Because that's where the problem lies. Are you able to admit that the people that you've been voting for have brought us to this point? Too many of the videos that I've seen have been talking about both sides. Yeah, the Democrats got issues, but the Democrats never talked about taking away your rights. The Democrats have always fought for health care. So, black people, y'all let me know. I ain't got nothing to do with this purple revolution. I don't trust any of these MAGA people, former MAGA people. I don't trust them at all. I'm not downing what it is that they are trying to do. I think it's a good thing that their eyes are opening. I think it's a good thing that they want to take action. I think it's a good thing that they want to create this purple revolution. I just don't think it's my business. They need to work amongst themselves. They were the issue. They were the ones terrorizing black people. They were the ones terrorizing the people on the left. So, yeah, I won't be part of a purple revolution. I don't even want to deal with leftists. Nope. I don't want to deal with leftists. I don't trust leftists either. So, I hope that they can get it together to make an impact, to help us move past this. I want that for them. And for anybody that's on the left, that's a Democrat, that feel that they can move with these people to help get them to the place where they need to be so that change can happen, more power to you. I encourage you to do that. I'm just not the one who's going to do it. I don't trust them. Nope. Maya Angelou told me, once they show you who you are, believe them the first time.
So the algorithm on TikTok has finally led me to the side of TikTok where I'm starting to see videos about the Purple Revolution. And from what I've seen so far, it seems like the Purple Revolution is seeing people of both sides of the political spectrum, both red and blue, come together to make a purple revolution. And there's a few creators I've seen so far talk about this. Friendly Honey Badger, Purple Revolution himself. There's a creator, Hunter Howell. I think I just saw his video too. It seems like it's a really interesting concept because I think what's happening is I think a lot of folks on the right side that voted for this administration are starting to see that things are not as what they actually appear to be. And normally, I know you guys know me as the type of creator that does FAFO type of content when it comes to folks on the right getting what they voted for. So seeing this revolution come to light seems very, very eye-opening and interesting at the same time. I'm looking into this at a cautiously optimistic type of angle because genuinely, I still have some hesitation when it comes to maybe people waking up, because part of the reason that we are in this situation is because of their contribution vote. And I do understand that maybe people make mistakes, or you know what, they were sold a bill of goods that was actually a lie. But I'm willing to look into this because I genuinely do believe that folks have a lot in common instead of what actually divides us. What I will say is I think coming to this point of the political area that we're in right now, I think trying to have as many allies as possible is probably going to be the best route that we're going to have to go through. Because the things that's happening around the country right now, the National Guard going to multiple cities, the lawsuits and attacks on media, folks getting picked up by the authorities, even American citizens because of racial profiling, and basically seeing what this administration is doing and how they're testing everything to see what they can get away with and how much they can push things is pretty much authoritarianism in my eyes. And I know there's another No Kings protest coming up, so I probably will talk about that in the upcoming days. And realistically, taking a step back and looking at things from a different angle, this whole entire political division that we are having right now, I genuinely do not think it's feasible going forward. I'll tag those two creators on here so you can at least see their videos and see what they're talking about. But if you have come across those videos talking about the Purple Revolution, let me know what you think about it, because I would actually love to hear a bunch of your perspectives if you have heard about it and seen.
You want a purple revolution? Very well. Let's start with an apology. Let's start with acknowledging the wrong decision that you made. Because in my opinion, that is something that I am not seeing. I am seeing a lot of people who are saying that, oh, they don't like what's going on, and, not left versus right, we shouldn't be so invested in politics. We should all come together because of, the powers that be are going to be coming after all of us soon. That's all well and good. I see the MAGA people and the conservatives who are concerned about what our future looks like, and they don't agree with the direction we're going in, and they are hoping that we can create some unity in order to stand up to what we're all experiencing. That's all well and good. But start with acknowledging that you made the wrong decision. Because we do not heal. We do not heal from this unless people like you make that declaration, unless people like you make that admission. And it's not some sick game to be like, oh, we told you so, blah, blah, blah. No, your accountability is what needs to take place in order for all of us to move forward. You can't skip steps in the healing process. So you can't skip over the step where you acknowledge that your vote was wrong. You voted in hopes that all of the bad things that this man would do would not touch you in any way, shape, or form. You voted knowing that it was going to harm a lot of people of color, people in the LGBTQ community, Hispanic, anybody. You voted knowing it was going to hurt a lot of these people. But now that it's hurting you, now that it's hurting people close to you, now that it's just not looking as glamorous as you thought it would look, this doesn't feel like that golden age that all of us told you would never come, that Kamala Harris told you would never come, you're trying to skip the step where you say you made the wrong decision. And I know a lot of people were going to try and get out of this. A lot of people were going to try and pretend like they were not pushing this train as fast as they could possibly push it because they thought it was going to serve them. But accountability is the first step. It's always the first step. These people need to acknowledge they were wrong. They need to admit that their vote was a vote for hatred. Because without that, I really don't see the purple revolution going very far.
Good morning. This is Sunday, October 5th, and I woke up to dozens and dozens of messages of people wanting to help with the Purple Revolution. And I know a lot of people antsy, like, we need action, we need to be doing something. And first of all, what we have to do is gain trust with each other, because understand, we don't know each other. We know each other from behind a piece of glass, right? So people are talking about discords, they're talking about having different group leaders in different places, and all of that are things that we want to do. Brian just simply needed the weekend off, as did I. This is, when you start something like this, it's kind of like you mean it, but you have no idea that what you're talking about is going to blow up, and this is going everywhere. And it's not more important than anybody else's group that's saying this, and maybe we'll be able to join some or just combine them all. I don't know. I'm not there yet. We're going to be having some big conversations and start giving directions and things that need to happen now. I mean, because we have to talk about ICE. It's not just one thing, right? So there's a lot of things that we have to sit and sort out. And by no means do we think we have all the answers to this. It's just that I know that if we don't unite, we won't win. And people get angry when I say, well, I can't unite with them. Then tell me your plan. Tell me your plan. Because as long as they keep us divided, we're weak. Because even the left is divided, and the right is all starting to divide itself too. So if you take the people willing to unite together and you form a wall, tell me how they break through a wall. If you have a better way to do this, make a video, post it, and I'll follow you. Because people come in and get angry when I talk about unity and how to work with people coming out of cults. It's like, no, that isn't it. I'm not going to do that. That's fine. Give me your plan. I'm dead ass serious. What's your plan? Because no one has a plan better than unity that I have seen, but no one really wants to talk about unity. They just want their way. And it's like, because I'm mad and I've been hurt. I could post pictures on here that would make your blood curdle of things that happened to me from people on the right. Things that I don't think that TikTok would let me post. Things I got death threats over from posting to say this is what's happening, that is real, that is happening on the right. I'm still here because unity is the answer. Is this easy for me? No. But it's a winning strategy, and I'm a strategist. I don't have to like all of this. I don't even have to understand all of it. I just know that unity is what's going to work, because the elite cannot break unity. It's like, when unions form and they won't break out of those lines, they lose. If we unite, we have a better chance towards strikes. We have better chances of dealing with ICE, dealing with anything that this administration wants to throw our way. Because right now we think of each other in extremes. Like I shared, I have a neighbor across the way. He's an immigrant, but he's got Fox News on his TV all the time. And he is the kindest, sweetest man you'd ever meet. You'd never know. But that's because when I say you'd never know, we have this vision of him being, a Nazi. That's not the conversation he'd have. And most people on the right do not think of themselves as that. They have a million different reasons they voted for him. And it simply could be that they've been taught to be scared of the left. But that doesn't mean they don't want the same things. Their just brain has been twisted. And some people on the far left, like the way they treat people, like I get nervous to get on here because I just feel like someone's going to come in and attack me for saying one word wrong, or like she can't lead this because she's not these things. I'm not a lot of things. I'm just willing to get up here and say things, and I know what the cult is. I know cults. I know con men. That's what I've done my whole life. So that's the expertise that I have. And working with people, I owned a big company. I had 60 employees that fought all the time, that didn't agree all the time, and we were very successful. So, and I have people that are coming in that have different gifts. That's the thing, is I'm not going to be able to know how to do all this. You guys are going to help me because we have to do this together. We are out of time. So if you want a million answers before you can join, I'm sorry, you're not always going to get them, because we have to move forward. We have to. And hopefully we can address things along the way. I've asked Brian to address some concerns people had, because see, his older videos where he was MAGA and he's raging and he's angry at Democrats, they're going to kick up when people follow him. Like I had one kick up last night and I was like, oh wow, you really were angry. I asked him to leave those videos because people from the right are going to check to see if he really was MAGA, and so are people from the left. Because anyone can come on here and pretend to do something like that, trying to get things, followers or whatever, And I asked him to do that, and he said, well, I am going to leave them anyway for accountability. I am accountable for what I said and did. And I went, holy crap, accountability. Someone actually said that word. So I've asked him to address these things head on and, pin it to his thing, because you may run across them and you may go, oh my gosh, he reverted. He didn't revert. He wants everyone on board. In fact, he really deals with this like a military. Like, we don't leave anyone behind. No one. Doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your gender, nothing. And people might say, well, how did that happen so fast? Because sometimes when you crack out of a cult mind, you actually can crack quickly. But most people don't. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, because it for sure happens. And being in the middle of this, seeing people getting killed, shot, whatever, he just was like, okay, we have to stop this. because it's just going to get so much worse. And then he got in here and started sharing and looked at it more in a military way, like, hey, when we're out there, we don't care who's with us. They are our teammate. They are our family. We are one. We are united. We don't leave anyone behind. And he keeps saying that. And I think people think, well, he's going to leave these people behind. No, he's not. Like, every time we talk, he's like, yeah, but we have to make sure they don't get left behind. And he's talking about you. If you're like, will he leave me behind? No, he's talking about you. If you have that feeling, you're the ones he's talking about. He's been going on lives with different Black content creators. We want to have people of all different ethnicities, backgrounds, everything with us. There's no one being left out, because you can't unite if you do that. Well, you can come in, but that's what the elite have been doing. That's what our media has been doing, is trying to divide over every little thing. No, we want everyone. Everyone. Because everyone has a different gift. Everyone has a different talent. And we have to do this together to win. We have to build that wall of unity so we can be strategic, so we can deal with what's coming, so we can take care of each other. Because if the economy gets really weird, we need to be able to help each other. It's not going to matter who they voted for. If they have something you need and they're willing to share it, you got to be willing to take it. Okay? So we don't have all the answers. We're working on that. We are going to ask anyone that we think is smarter than us, and we are going to include as much information from smarter people, and we are going to have people all over the place helping us in charge of their areas and stuff. All this is what's coming. It's just we had a week of like a fire hose, because never in our wildest dreams did we think this was going to catch on like this. But here we are. And just in time, right? Okay, so if I haven't gotten back to you in a message, it doesn't mean I won't. It just means there's tons of them. And also when I look on profiles, some people don't have videos, or they have one follow. Like, I have to decide who people even are. This is tricky. That's why we have to start meeting in person. That's why it's important to show up on No King's Day, so we can get to know each other and who's in our area. So if you were waffling on going, you need to go. Show up in purple. Put where you're from on there so we can get this rolling.
It's all I got from this video. Sincerely speaking, I do not see any purple revolution going any far, because I've been able to also study white women from Black people's lenses. And I do not think these people are ready or want to do anything. I think this is just them whining and capping us usual, because if these people wanted revolution, this would have started a long time ago. I understand that anytime somebody wakes up, it's his or her morning, but I do not believe in white women wanting to start revolution. The same people that are saying how, like, I've been posting so many videos since last week, and telling you that white women are not ready. And sincerely speaking, they are not ready. And before you start on something, especially when it comes to revolution, there is need for you to revisit. Why do you even want revolution? What happened? Why is there need for maybe blue and red to come together? You think they do not like the fact that there are some people that they are oppressing? They love it so much. That's why each time you talk about dismantling the system, they will tell you, how do we come in? This is usually their question. When you tell them how to come in, they will tell you, I want to do the work, but I don't want my family to know I am doing. So who do you want to start the work with? If there is anything Black people want to do, I did not see any Black person wanting to say, I know there is need for everybody to fight in the end. But I am not sure white women will come in. They will tell you they are going to work with you. But at the dying minute, they will also run away like they have always been doing. You remember how they did with the election. And then in the end, their husbands, or they will tell you, we tried to vote, but our husbands outdid us in numbers. Like, it looks like some of my videos this for today are kind of interconnected. for you to solve a problem, you must find the problem, you must know the problem. And there is need to talk about why the problem started, because they are the cause of the problem. So there is need to talk about it if they are ready for any purple revolution. But aside from that, I do not see any white people or white person coming out to do something. Black people have done more than enough for you. So it's time for you guys to take over. That is